What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Metal Ledger. My name's James, and this is a podcast where we're going to be keeping track of what's actually happening in the metal scene in 2026 between new releases, or news, old bands, and new bands, and honest opinions without hyper industry bullshit. I'm here to give you guys my own personal opinions on metal. I grew up listening to metal from about the age of 12. My first metal band I ever actually listened to was Attack Attack, and then I dived more off the deep end and went heavier, and then I discovered some of the older metal bands, so I have a little bit of a cultured taste of old school and new school, and I'd love to share that with you guys on my own opinions. Metal's been around forever, and it keeps changing, and that's what the show's really about, is logging where the scene's at right now. If you're into heavy music and you actually care about what's going on, you're in the right place. The reason the Metal Ledger was started, and this is our first episode, it's just going to be a solo episode with me, James. I could possibly have some other guests that are going to be joining me, like my cousin. He's really cool. He's into metal, and I'm looking to get some maybe underground bands to come and join us. We're pretty much here because a lot of the metal coverage that I see today is watered down or it's a little gatekeepy. Everything's either, look at this band, they're the greatest band in the world, no one likes any other band, yada yada. That's dumb. I'm not into that. We're here to discuss what is actually going on in the metal scene today, okay? Getting a straight in, tours. A lot of people are going on tour currently, and a lot of people have actually here recently announced a lot of tour dates. Starting with Avatar, they announced their. Actually, this was 2 hours ago. Avatar announced a North American tour with Flesh God and Apocalypse and Frozen Soul. Also, followed by a couple hours ago, the Black Dahlia Murder is going on a U.S. tour with the Acacia Strain, Disembodied Tyrant, and Corpse Pile. Five Finger Death Punch also a couple hours ago announced their 2026 North American tour with Cody Jinks and Eva Under Fire. If you guys are more into a little heavier, we have Behemoth announcing their North American tour with Dyside, Immolation, and Rotting Christ. Sammy Hagar announces that he's doing the Best of All Worlds tour in the U.S. this year. High Rakes is going on a U.S. tour with Savage Master and Dissolus. In other news, Ticketmaster accidentally leaked 4 Poison the Well show dates. Don't know how they managed that, but that was a couple days ago. Looking further back from the beginning of the year, it looks like the Headbangers Boat 2026 lineup was finalized with Death Angel, All Shall Perish, and Kylesa. Don't know who that is. We'll have to dig into them one day. Also talking about tour dates and things. Okay, we're going to go ahead and look at some of the festivals that everyone likes to go to in the United States. Incarceration has yet to announce their lineup, but at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 15th, which is in 2 days, they're going to be dropping their lineup announcement. Cannot wait, with them having some of the better lineups of the last couple years. Like last year, they had Knocked Loose, Falling in Reverse, Beartooth, I Prevail, Killswitch Engaged, Slipknot, Five Finger Death Punch. They had a lot of great bands last year that actually showed up to Incarceration. And honestly, that really shows, like, Incarceration kind of definitely stays in the loop of what bands are popular and what underground bands are coming up, so that those underground bands can still get out there and earn new fans. Another one is Louder Than Life. Louder Than Life also has not put out their full 175 plus artists that are going to be at Louder Than Life this year. The only ones that we know of currently that are locked in is Iron Maiden on September 17th, and we definitely have My Chemical Romance on September 18th. Going overseas, Hellfest is coming. Everybody likes Hellfest. Everybody knows that Hellfest has really, really great bands. So far, it looks like we have their lineup is, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, their lineup's really great. On their main stages for most of the days, they have Bring Me the Horizon, Papa Roach, Breaking Benjamin, Iron Maiden, Ultra Vomit, Limp Bizkit, Tom Morello, The Offspring, Rise Against, Pennywise, Sabaton, Bad Omens, Anthrax. I mean, they have a mixture of modern metal and the good old classic metal. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. You listen to some Sabaton, you're gonna enjoy yourself. You listen to some Anthrax, you're more than likely going to be able to enjoy yourself. So it's great that a lot of these modern festivals are able to like look at the scene of metal and go, okay, cool. We know there's going to be younger people who are going to be bringing their parents that might be into older metal, so obviously they're going to be catering to that. And not only that, but a lot of the newer school people that are coming into metal are also delving into the old school style, because without the old school, we wouldn't have the new school stuff. So it's great to see that they are definitely, how would I say this? They're definitely capitalizing on being able to bring the old bands in with the newer bands. I think it's a great thing. Other than that, talking about what else do we have on the agenda today? Some lineup changes. Let's see. Jay Weinberg is leaving Suicidal Tendencies. The former Slipknot drummer Jay Weinberg announces his departure from Suicidal Tendencies, citing family commitments, and he prepares for the birth of his first son. Congratulations, Jay. Arch Enemy and Alyssa White are parting ways. The longtime Arch Enemy vocalist Alyssa White and the band have officially separated. Metal Church returns with a brand new lineup. Veteran Metal Act Metal Church is reemerging in 2026, featuring David Ellefson, ex-Megadeth, on bass, Ken Mary on drums, and a new vocalist named Brian Allen alongside founding members Kurt Vanderhoof. All That Remains announces they're a brand new guitarist. Ken Susi, formerly on the band Under Earth and As I Lay Dying, has officially joined All That Remains as their new guitarist for 2026. Nevermore teases a revamped lineup. Legendary band Nevermore is returning to the 2026 stage with a revamped lineup, including Jeff Loomis and Van Williams. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to transpire. Twisted Sisters reunion without Mark. It's their 50th anniversary reunion tour in 2026, and Twisted Sister are performing without their bassist, Mark Mendoza. It's going to be interesting who they're going to have step in for him. Speaking about change-ups, a lot of the scene has been changing, and it's something that I've noticed where people are definitely changing the way that they're discovering music, and it's a little different. A lot of people are using TikTok now. It's funny to say it, but I use TikTok to find new metal bands. Like, most of my feed is just metal and dumbass videos that I've somehow gotten to a cure onto my For You page. And it's really been helping bands really reach out to more masses, with TikTok being the number one social platform on most app stores. It's an easy way for new bands or even existing bands to grow their fan base, and it really shows. But the problem is all these newer fans that are coming in are putting labels on bands and putting genre labels on bands, and at some point those labels help with people wanting to discover, but then at some point it also boxes a band in, and it stops them from growing, because the band sometimes will feel like, well, they're putting us in, let's say, the prog, the prog metal genre, and maybe they don't want to do that anymore. Maybe they want to experiment and maybe try to go off and do like a little EP of like a different genre and try it, but they're afraid to nowadays because they know that people like consistency, and if they want to try to change it up a little bit to be more of what they want, they are afraid that they're going to end up losing their, fans just because they want to try something new. So it really comes down to metal is at its best when bands stop worrying about fitting in categories, and it really helps when their fans don't try to put them into categories. Honestly, it's just music at the end of the day. Like, if they release an album that you don't like, that's okay. I'm also someone who really likes rap. And it really sucks when I see a new artist, like not even a new artist, like some of my favorite artists who put out new albums, and I don't like their new albums. I don't like Logic's last album that he put out. I wasn't a very big fan of it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to stop listening and be like, oh, I hate him. He still has those old albums, and it's the same with metal bands. You know, just because they released an album that you don't 100% like, I guarantee there's one or two songs in there that you're going to find that you like. Don't let the rest of the album stop you from listening to those couple songs. It's because if you do that, you're just putting yourself in your own box. New release check. We're going to be looking at some of the newer releases at the beginning of the year and the end of last year. Coming in with just a couple days ago, looks like Break the Silence dropped their album Beyond the Black. From what I'm told, it is a symphonic metal and power metal album. They are a German symphonic metal band. Don't know who they are, but they did release. Upcoming later in January, this is worth mentioning, Crushers of the World is releasing, and Set the Dark on Fire is also releasing. New songs from Sun O, or Sun I don't know how to pronounce them. They have the weird letters at the end of their name. Glory Black is a new song that's currently blowing up for them. It is a newer song that just came out. Some notable releases from last year that aren't just like from the end of the year, but just like overall. And honestly, it's going to be another topic I'm going to talk about. Lorna Shore, okay? Lorna Shore. Their last album that they released, which is I Feel the Ever Black Festering Within Me, may or may not be one of the better produced albums of last year. They open up with the first song with the heaviest metal breakdown of the year. The end of that song, you get the first breakdown, you're like, damn, that's heavy. You get the second breakdown, you're like, whoa, it gets heavier. And then right off of this first and the second one, they give you a third that's so heavy that without lossless audio on Spotify, which you need premium for, it clips at the top end. It literally clips, like it audio clips really, really bad. And now that we have lossless audio, you can actually listen to it and it sounds proper, which is great. I feel like Lorna Shore's really put themselves in this little spot. They know who they are. They know their audience. They know what genre they belong to, and they're kind of just writing it. It's one of those things where like it's a band in their prime, and it really, really shows. Will Ramos joining that band was probably the greatest thing to ever happen to Lorna Shore after they almost broke up 10 times. Another early in the year release last year was Arch Enemy. They released an album March 28th, 2025 called Blood Dynasty. It still gets traction and it's worth revisiting, honestly. Even if you've already listened to it, go back and listen to it again. It's a great album. You can listen to it on loop and you'll enjoy yourself pretty much. Also back in March 21st of last year, Imperial Triumphant, Gold Star. It was an experimental album that honestly, it keeps popping up in discussions that I see. I watch a bunch of YouTubers, and it keeps popping up. They keep mentioning it. Honestly, I could see them, definitely going for this year. Hopefully, they release another album. It'd be great. I know Lorna Shore probably won't release another album this year. Another album that got released later in the year is Dark Angel, Extinction Level Event. They are a thrash band. I'm not into thrash metal, but I do listen to it every once in a while. Thrash fans are still talking about it on things like Reddit and YouTube and Pinterest or whatever the hell these kids are using nowadays. Hot Tracks of the Week, by the way, still, like I said earlier, Sun O, Glory Black, it's their first album in 7 years. Go give that song a listen. It is absolutely brutal drone metal. It's definitely great. The Buzzers have an upcoming album from Creator and Edenbridge, so you can go ahead and listen to them. Still making noise. Lorna Shore and Arch Enemy. Honestly, go back and listen to anything. from Lorna Shore, an arch enemy. Go ahead and go back. Some other bands that I think people really, really, really need to look into. Gonna go ahead and go through my own little metal playlist here because I do have some undergroundish. There's a band, okay, from a long time ago, and most people don't even remember them. This band was called The Entities. The Entities was a great band. They had, it was almost like a Thal Vildhjarta kind of sound to them. Very ambient and like, genty prog kind of sound. Because let's be real, all Thal is gent with a little ambience. That's all it really is. Let's be real about it. Only one band does it super proper, and it's Vildhjarta, as everybody knows. They released their album last year, which was titled, let me see here, it was Dar Skogen. I'm not going to pronounce the rest of that because I'm going to butcher it. But they released their album last year, and it was absolute heat, delivering another absolutely banger album from Vildhjarta. But looking back to the band that I was talking about called The Entities, I found that their guitarist is in another band now, and the band is called _Emerald_ or just call them Emerald. The only way you're going to find it is _Emerald_. They dropped a little EP, and that EP is really, really good. I recommend that you guys go ahead and look at them. If this podcast somehow makes it to them, Emerald, if you guys would love to, do a segment with us and, come out, not come out to like my house. I don't have enough room for all of you guys. But if you guys would like hop in like a call or something and we record, a little session where I ask you guys some questions about, what your guys' vision is, that'd be great. Enough begging for views. Honestly, I think that's going to be it for this episode. This is kind of just a starter to see how I'm feeling and to see how this goes over. I'm going to be making one of these about once a week, just to keep up on some of the metal news. Future episodes will be diving deeper into new albums, spotlighting some underground bands, and possibly arguing about which records are overrated and underrated, because me and my friends all have different metal tastes, and we can sometimes get into some heated arguments about who's better and who's not. So that's going to wrap it up for episode 1 of the Metal Ledger. If you guys are, interested in seeing how the Metal Ledger goes, please follow our podcast on here. Find us on Instagram and on TikTok. It is @the Metal Ledger. On TikTok, it's just @Metal Ledger. They wouldn't let me have the for some reason. Don't know why. If you like what you heard, follow the podcast, leave a rating. Let me know how what bands and topics you guys want to see covered. You guys can do that by messaging us on Instagram, and you guys can also message us on TikTok. The DMs are open. I will try to respond to everything. This is the Metal Ledger. Metal past, present, and future. I'll catch you on the next one.